In this video, I will discuss Material Requirements Planning or MRP. MRP is a system that ensures that materials are available for production when needed. The objective of MRP is to reduce excess inventory and minimize production delay. In other words, the objective of MRP is to streamline production processes. Earlier we discussed production planning process that starts with strategic business plan from which we derive production plan. Production plan is at the level of family of products, and then production plan is transformed into master production schedule for individual items. And today we'll be discussing material requirements plan. That's how to streamline those production processes, when to place an order, in what quantity. Modern systems allow automation of MRP. However, it is important to understand underlying theories and important terms and definitions. Gross requirement is the demand, which means the quantity that's required by customer. Scheduled receipt is the material that's supposed to be received from supplier or any other entity in the upstream supply chain. It may be the quantity that was ordered earlier but it is not yet received, maybe because there is late delivery or for any reason. This is the quantity that will be receiving. Projected on hand is pretty much similar to projected available balance, which means it is the anticipated inventory that would be available at any given point in the future. Planned order receipts is the quantity of material that the system has calculated. They are not yet ordered but they are required, and that's based on forecast demand and current inventory level. Planned order releases, which is about instructions or orders to purchase or produce material. The last thing is ordering strategy, whereby we can have fixed order quantity, whereby every time we place an order, we place a fixed quantity. For example, if an order is placed every week, the lot size is 100. So fixed order quantity would mean that every week we place an order of 100. But lot for lot mean that there is no fixed quantity, and the order that will be placed, it depends upon the requirement. If in 1 week requirement is 50 units, we will place the order for 50 units. If in the second period the demand is 100 units, we will place an order of 100 units. If in period 3 demand is 200 units, we will place an order of 200 units. So the quantity will vary depending upon how much is required. Here is an example that will be calculating MRP using Microsoft Excel. We will be doing this calculation using both fixed order quantity, whereby we will be using a lot size of 105 units throughout, which means every time we place an order, it will be 105. And secondly, we will also be doing the same thing using lot for lot, and lead time is 1 week. This is our data in Excel, and as you can see here, this is our week. So there are 5 weeks. We will be developing MRP using both fixed order quantity and lot for lot approach. When we'll be using fixed order quantity, lot size will be 105 units and lead time will be 1 week. This is for fixed order quantity approach, and this green is for lot, which means we will be placing order of the quantity that's needed for each period, and lead time will also be 1 week. This is our gross requirement, which means this is the demand from the customer, and this is scheduled receipts, which means this is the quantity that we will be receiving. There is only one receipt in period 1. Same thing here. Both datas are identical. Then this is POH, which means projected on hand. It is similar to projected available balance that we discussed earlier. And so our starting inventory is 25. And the first thing is we need to calculate this one, and for this one our approach will be very much similar to what we discussed earlier. If you recall, for projected available balance in earlier videos, we used an approach that was a semi-isosceles triangle or a broken arrowhead, and the approach was that this quantity, that's planned receipts and projected available balance, they are added, this gross requirement or customer is subtracted from that. But over here we'll add one more thing, because this is another thing, scheduled receipts that we will be receiving soon, and then this will be subtracted. So our approach will be 0 plus 25 plus 175 minus 85. So 25 plus 175, that will be 200, and 200 minus 85, it will be 115. The formula that I'll be using to calculate projected on hand is given here, which means planned receipts, which means this quantity plus projected on hand plus scheduled receipts minus gross requirement. And it shows that it's 115. And again, this 115 means the quantity that we have available, that is 25 plus 175, that becomes 200. 200 minus 85 is equal to 115. Now I will copy this one to other periods. Now we will fill the next row. The next row is about planned receipts. So the idea of planned receipt is that we want to calculate how much quantity is needed. So for example, over here we have 115. Is this 115 sufficient to meet the demand for the next period? Yes, it is sufficient. So we don't need to produce anything. And out of this 115, when 95 units will be consumed, we will be left with 20. Now the next question is that, is this 20 sufficient to meet the demand for 100? No, it is not. So which means we need to place an order. But for this one, we will be using a formula that will automatically calculate for the whole row. And for that formula, we'll be using this if function. So this formula is given here. And the formula is that if our available quantity, this is our available quantity 25 plus 175, if it is less than 85, then place an order. Okay, then the next question is that what should be the order size? We know order size is 105. So I will write here 105 and then otherwise 0. So this is how this if function works. In if function, we have two branches. If this thing happens, then do this. If that does not happen, then it's 0, which means do nothing. So it shows 0 here. And then I will copy this one to other cells. And that is our planned receipts, which means we are required to have 105 here, here, and here. Now the last row is about planned releases, which means when we are supposed to issue an order. For this one, as you can see, lead time is 1 week, which means when we need something here, the order must be placed 1 week before here. If we need something here in period number 3, then order must be placed in week number 2 here. Similarly, if we need something in week number 4, then order must be placed in week number 3. And finally, if something is required in week number 5, the order for that must be placed in week number 4 because lead time is 1 week. So I will use this approach is equal to this one, which means 1 week earlier. And then I will copy this one to other cells. Here we have MRP for this one. Now we'll be doing the same thing using L for L or lot for lot approach. Data remains the same, which means the number of weeks is the same. Gross requirement, customer order remains the same. Scheduled receipts remain the same. Our starting inventory, that remains the same, that's 25. And for this one, what's available quantity? And I'll be using the same formula that I used here, which means our available inventory is equal to planned receipts plus our starting inventory plus scheduled receipts minus demand or gross requirement. That becomes 115. And again, you know, this 115 means that we have 200 units. 25 plus 175, that's 200. And out of these 200, when 85 are consumed, we are left with 115 for period number 2. So I will copy this one to the whole row. The next thing is planned receipts using L for L. And again, for this one, I'll be using the same function if our available inventory, which means 25 plus 175 is less than our customer orders, then place an order. Now the question is that what should be order size? Over here it was very simple, it was 105, so we would just write here 105. But in this case, the order size changes from one period to another period. So for that one, we will use this formula that the order size will be 85 minus scheduled receipts minus available inventory. and if it's not, then 0. So again, this is how this if function works, which means if this one is less than, then you place this order. If it is not, then 0, nothing. And I will copy this to other cells. And the last one is planned releases, which means when to place an order. And again, as you can see here, that lead time is 1 week. So which means for this one, we need to place an order here. And because this is period number 1, so we are placing here. We cannot do anything here. This is not our period 1. This is just a cell that shows our starting inventory. This is our period 1, so everything will start from here. So because lead time is 1 week, so for this one we will place an order here is equal to this one, and then I will copy this one to other cells, and that's it. This gives us MRP using lot for lot. Now just imagine if lead time is 2 weeks instead of 1 week, then for this one we will place an order here, and for this one we will place an order here, and for this one we will place an order here, because it would take 2 weeks, 1 week and 2 weeks. And similarly, if lead time is 3 weeks, then for this one we will place an order here, and for this one we will place an order here. How do all these calculations make sense? In this calculation we have week, that's number of periods, and this is customer demand, and this is scheduled receipts. Scheduled receipts mean the quantity that we'll be receiving. It's confirmed because this is the quantity that was ordered earlier, but we will be receiving it in period 1. Then projected on hand, which means this is the quantity that should be available at any given point in future. And these are planned receipts, which means this is our calculation that we will be needing this much inventory here, here and here, and this is when to place an order. So it says that your first order needs to be placed in week number 2, and that order should be of 105 when you are using this strategy, that fixed order quantity. Similarly, your next order should be placed in week number 3, and the order size will be 105, and third order should be placed in week number 4, and that order size will be 105 when using fixed order quantity. However, when using lot for lot approach, then our first order will be of 100 units and it will be placed in period number 2. Then second order will be placed in period 3 and that will be of 100 units. And the last order will be placed in week number 4 and that will be of 100 units. So MRP tells us when to place an order and what should be the size of that order. Now let's solve one more problem. Here is another example, and here we have data. This is week and this is gross requirement by customer, or this is demand, and scheduled receipts are 0. There are no scheduled receipts, so which means when we'll be doing calculation we can completely skip this one. And our starting inventory is 20 units, and we will be doing this calculation using fixed order quantity, whereby lot size will be 50 units, and we'll be doing the same thing using lot for lot, whereby order size will vary depending upon the demand for each period, and lead time is 1 week in each cases. So basically the only difference is that this is fixed order quantity and this one is lot for lot approach. So we will start with projected on hand calculation, and that is equal to this one plus our opening inventory, and the next one is we need to add scheduled receipt. We can add it or we can just skip this one, minus gross requirement, and that is 20. So which means our starting inventory is 20. In period number 1 there is no consumption, no demand, so the same inventory will remain unused, and then I will drag it to other cells, and I will be using the same approach here, whereby projected on hand becomes planned receipts plus our starting inventory plus scheduled receipts minus gross requirement, and that becomes 20. I will copy it to other cells. The next thing is to calculate planned receipts. So which means we have here 20 units and the demand for next period is 60. Is this 20 sufficient to meet the demand for 60? No, it is not, which means we need here something. and we will also need something in other cells. So for that we will be using this formula, and the formula is that if our available inventory, which means this on hand inventory 20 plus scheduled receipts, is less than our demand or gross requirement, then place an order. Then the question is, what should be order size? It says order size is 50. Whenever we use if function, then the last one is 0, which means if not, then 0. So here we have 0, and then I will copy this to other cells. Now the next thing will be when to place order, and the lead time is 1 week. So which means over here we need 50 units, and because lead time is 1 week, so we need to place an order here that is 1 week before when this is needed. So that will be is equal to this one, and then I will drag this to other cells. Now doing the same thing for lot approach, whereby we use the same formula, which is if our available inventory, which means this 20 plus scheduled receipts, if it is less than our demand, then place an order. Then the question is that what should be the order size? The order size will be this one minus what is available minus this one. If not, then 0, and I will copy this to other cells. The last step is to place orders. Because lead time is 1 week, so we need here 40 units, and because lead time is 1 week, so we will need to place an order here that is before 1 week when these 40 units are required. So that will be equal to this one, and then if I copy this one to other cells, it becomes this one. We have completed MRP using both approaches. Now let's make sense of this one. Here this is our week, this is our gross requirements, scheduled receipts are 0, projected on hand is 20 starting point, and then we calculate for other periods, and this is planned receipt, which means this is the quantity that would be required, and this is our action, which means what we have to do. So to get this 51 we place an order here, to get this 51 we place an order here. And the same thing here in for lot we need 40 units, we place an order 1 week before that. Here in period number 4 we need 60 units, we place an order here. Material requirements planning is about streamlining production processes. It is about making decisions about what quantity is needed and when it is needed and when to place an order.